Good morning, class. So, this is a formula for horizontal motion of uniform acceleration. So, we are in uniform acceleration. It means that when you say uniform acceleration, it means constant acceleration, or the acceleration remains the same all throughout. It means to say that if you are given an acceleration of 10 meters per second square, it means that if you have a uniform acceleration, it only means that in every second the velocity or speed increases by the same amount, but by the same value. So in every second, if you are given a uniform acceleration of 10 meters per second square, in every second, your velocity or speed increases by 10 meters per second. So, meaning to say, in every second, so from 1 second to 2 seconds to 3 seconds, your speed increases by the same value. So, at first, 10 meters per second square. At second, you have 20 meters per second. Okay? Per second. And the third second, you have 30 meters per second. So you would notice there are velocities. Okay? From the first up to the third second, the velocities increase are the same. So, pare-parehas ang pag-increase ng velocity. So, the difference between 1 second and 2 seconds is 10 meters per second. Okay? The difference between 2 seconds and 3 seconds is another 10 meters per second. So if you are going to continue that, 4 seconds, you have 40 meters per second. So the difference is still 10 meters per second. So the acceleration remains the same. 10 meters per second, 10 meters per second, and so on. So you have a uniform acceleration. Sa umpisa, 10 meters per second ka lang. Pangalawang segundo, naging 20, naging 30, naging 40. Pare-parehas ang pagdagdag ng iyong velocity. Equal to 10 meters per second. So that is your uniform acceleration. Okay? Now, here are the formulae for your horizontal motion. So, any object moving horizontally, ganitong gagamitin. Take note that we do not focus on the non-uniform acceleration. Ang pinag-uusapan dito is only for uniform acceleration. Constant acceleration lang tayo. Okay? So, we are done with the horizontal motion. We are now in vertical or free fall. Bakit tinawag na free fall? It's because, what is free fall? What is free fall? Okay. Paki-picturean ito, ha? Kasi ito ay kasama yan sa inyong index card. Okay, buburahin ko na kasi. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Anim na formula. Including your V is equal to D over T. D is equal to D is equal to VT. And then T is equal to D over V. So tatlong yon. Dagdag nyo dito sa horizontal motion. Okay, that can also be used for vertical. Okay, let's have the free fall. Okay, ang free fall, why do we call it free fall? Free fall since it is the motion is only affected by gravity, no other forces. Okay? The reason why objects fall because of gravity. Okay? No other forces acting on it, only gravity. So, in Tagalog, malayang pagbagsak, free fall. Motion that is only affected by gravity. Okay? So, what are the examples of free fall? Any object that is thrown up or down. Lahat ng object na vertically. Object drop, object thrown up, those are vertical motion, or we call it free fall. Now, there are two examples of free fall. By the way, there are three. Kaya lang, para hindi kayo ma-confuse, let us make it two muna. Okay? So, the first one is object dropped. Okay, last meeting, we have started this one, object dropped. So, ang object drop ganito. So, imagine niyo this is an object and then I drop it. At first, the initial velocity is 0 because at rest. It is at rest at first. And then I drop it. So, that's the time it will go down, down and down, faster and faster. So, ang tawag dyan ay, what do you call the acceleration? We call this now, the acceleration of any object in vertical motion, ha? Any object that is moving vertically, we call its acceleration due to gravity. Due. And what is the symbol? The symbol is small g, which is equal to 9.8 meters per second square. Nakikita ba? Baka mamaya hindi na nakikita. Okay, 9.8 meters per second square. And last time, we round it off into 10 meters per second square. Okay, bakit natin ni-round off? Para maintindihan ninyo. Okay? Just for illustration, ha? But when we solve the problem, it is 9.8 that we use. Pero just to show you an illustration, for you to easily understand the illustration, let us round off into whole number. Gamitin natin 10 meters per second square. Katulad kanina, class, every second, the speed increases. The velocity increases by 10 meters per second. Yan ang ibig sabihin ng 10 meters per second square. Similarly, in a vertical motion, halimbawa, nandito yung object, and then, at first, it is 0 second. Correct? And then the velocity is, initial velocity is 0 kasi nga at rest pa lang, and then it is dropped. Okay? Mangyayari niyan, magiging at 1 second, magiging 10 meters per second ang kanyang velocity. Okay? And then at 2 seconds, magiging 20 meters per second. Okay? And then at 3rd second, magiging 30 meters per second. So what do you notice with the velocity? The velocity increases. The velocity increases. The speed increases as it approaches the ground. Why? Because of the pull of gravity. Hinihila kasi ng gravity kay pabilis ng pabilis. Okay? The velocity increases as the object gets closer to the ground. So from 0, ang initial velocity is 0, naging 10, naging 20, naging 30. It means to say that the acceleration of the object, any object that is falling, is equal to 10 meters per second square. Kada segundo daw, nadadagdagan ng 10 meters per second na kanyang velocity or speed. So that is 10 meters per second square. And that is constant. Whatever the object is, whether light object, heavy object, kahit anong object pa inanak, whether it goes up or down, the velocity is added equal to 10 meters per second. The velocity increases by 10 meters per second. And that is constant. Kahit anong object pa yan. So, that is what we meant by 10 meters per second square or specifically 9.8 meters per second square. Kada segundo daw, nadadagdagan ng 9.8 meters per second square yung velocity ng object na bumabagsak o umaakyat pataas. So, you notice, class, as it goes down, the speed increases, the velocity increases. When it goes up naman, well, it is the opposite. It is the opposite of what is happening when falling down. What happens during going up? Kapag going up naman, it slows down. Why? Because the object is pulled by the gravity. That makes the object slow down. So nag-slow down siya as it goes up, but the G is always equal to 9.8. Actually, it's negative 9.8. So, it is negative. Bakit negative yan? Kasi going down. Do not forget, ha? Velocity, displacement, acceleration, they are vector quantities and you have to include the direction. Okay? So, negative, negative, negative. Ano yung sabihin ito? Negative acceleration. Pag negative acceleration kasi, it is slowing down. Nag-slow down ba siya? No! Actually, it is speeding up. Kailan bakit negative to? It is because the negative here is not about the negative or positive acceleration is speeding up or slowing down. Ang negative dito refers to the direction of the force that causes the acceleration. Kaya tinawag na acceleration due to gravity. What causes the acceleration? Bakit nag-speed up? Remember that speeding up is acceleration. What causes the acceleration? Bakit nag-accelerate? Bakit nag-speed up? Or in other words, bakit nag-accelerate? So when I say bakit nag-accelerate, bakit nag-speed up, bakit nag-slow down, remember that acceleration is speeding up, slowing down, or changing direction. So bakit nag-speed up ito? It's because of gravity, kaya tinawag na acceleration due to gravity. And then why does object going up slow down? Bakit nag-accelerate pa rin when it goes up? Bakit pag mga bagay na hinagis mo pataas, nag-accelerate pa rin? Nag-accelerate in the sense that it slows down. Objects slow down as they go up. It's because of still gravity. Kasi it is opposing the direction of the gravity. That's why it slows down. The object slows down, okay? So, etong mga to, anak, they are negative. Okay? Bakit negative 9.8? Kahit anong object pa, anak, it's always negative. Whether going up or down ang direction ng object, it is always negative 9.8. Because the negative there doesn't explain the direction of the object. This negative here is about the direction of the force. Ano ba yung gravity? It's always downward. Ang downward, di ba, it's negative? Kaya laging negative yan. Okay, it's always negative 9.8 meters per second square. That is for object dropped. So what are the formula for object dropped? What are the formula? We have, since V sub I, pakilagay ito ha, object dropped sa inyong index card. V sub I is equal to 0. Therefore, lahat ng V sub I sa inyong formula ay lalagay nyo ika-cancel ninyo. And then of course, your A is changed to G. Okay? Hindi na acceleration yan. It's acceleration due to gravity. The symbol is small g. So lahat ng A, papalitan nyo ng G. Okay? So better if you also write D as D sub Y. Okay? So V sub I is equal to 0. What else? You have T is equal to B sub F over G. Oh. Maaralin nyo kung bakit naging ganyan yan. And then you have also D is equal to, since VI is 0, then we have D is equal to D sub Y. Is equal to, D sub Y yan ha. It means vertical, Y. Vertical na tayo eh. Yung kanina, pwede nyo lagyan ng D sub X for horizontal motion. Okay? So, bahala kayo kung anong ninyo. Basta ako, pag vertical, naglalagay na ako ng Y. Pag sa horizontal, basic kasi, kaya walang Y and X. But this time, I'm gonna use Y for vertical motion component. So, D sub Y is equal to GT square over 2. And then, D is equal to V sub F square over 2G. Okay? Pakikopya ito ha, at buburahin ko na ito mamaya. Now, I already discussed this last time, and I'm sure that you have already this set of formulae in your index card, pero uulitin ko lang, okay? What else do we have? What about V sub F? V sub F is equal to GT, another formula. Or V sub F is equal to square root of 2GD sub Y. Okay. And then copy, paki-picturean ninyo, and then copy on your index card. And nakukuha pa yung discussion natin. Naintindihan ba? Tinitingnan ko to. I'm thankful to my partner who made this glass board. Kasi sabi ko, nag-request ako sa kanya na gawan ako ng glass board dito sa bahay. Okay. So, purahin ko na. Next, we have vertical motion number 2. Ano yon? Object thrown up. So separate yan ha, ginagawa ko para maintindihan natin, I'm separating the going up and down. So number 2 is object thrown up. Okay, so there are two motions there. We have the up and down. Very simple. Pag up, when you throw an object, ganito ang itsura ng object thrown up eh. 1, 2,